Okay, you're all familiar with this already by now. I've already done, I think, 5 or 6 videos on the moon, going in digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the moon, is what we're doing here. But I just wanted to show you guys what I did. I've been changing things around. I always do. I'm always changing shit up. So these two blue bulbs that were above my head, all I did was push them in. I centered them more. If you notice, they were way out here before. So I centered those a little more, and that'll bring my colors down evenly when I'm using color on this side of things. If I go to turn the sun on, if I want to put the sun on, I can. No, that's not the one. But there's two other bulbs that I can try to duplicate the sun, and I do that with, just so people know what I'm doing here, a 6500K usually. 2700K, I believe, to 2100K is more yellowy, orangey, and that's more along the lines of what our sun used to look like. I'll use it, I'll do it, and you can see the imagery more clearly with the 2100 or lower. That's the reason why I went with the red from behind the moon. Not that I see any red with my human eyes from behind the moon, but it just, the orangey colors seem to show the imagery more crisp and more clear for me. I believe there was a time when the contrast, I don't even think it's a belief anymore. I think that this is all provable now, to be honest with you. Anyways, these red bulbs back here were too bright. They were shining light too much on just a couple of my photographs. So what I did was just put a couple pieces of paper there. Everything is simple. Light bulbs, aluminum foil to throw some light around, a white sheet to stop glare, because I was getting a lot of glare. And what I was showing you guys yesterday was when I was coming through, and that's another thing, when I get glare up above, I can move this now. I have control over moving, so depending on which photograph I'm on, if I'm down here, it may not bother me, but if I want to move light around to change things, I can. Anyways, what I was showing you guys yesterday coming through like this is what I'm trying to show you is the glare in the telescope. When the telescope's glaring out, when I got the telescope coming through like this and everybody's saying, you know, you're wasting my time because all I can see is glare. It's purposeful. I want you to only see the fucking glare, because as the glare is coming through, it's allowing certain imagery is going to show up to you more clearly than others. And then once you have that one in your memory, then it won't go away. So in other words, when you see the other images that are around it, you'll still remember and say, oh yeah, there she is, there he is, there's that one, yes, I see all those. Oh, but here's a new one that I didn't notice before, this one here, or, whatever. So that's what I'm getting out of doing that for you. You see how the shadows, lights and shadows, everything's lights and shadows. It's another reason why this turning thing that I did here, right? So I've tried doing this before, but I always get caught up on other shit. But all I'm doing is turning this a little bit, and I actually flipped it upside down since I did it because I needed more room at the bottom. But watch as I go from moon to moon slowly. And this is what the telescope does. When I let it run all the way through. That's why I'm telling you, it's not a waste of your time to grab it when you're doing photographs or videos of the moon. It's worth grabbing it at, even if you got a full moon, you think to yourself, why would you crop a picture halfway, through the moon like that? Why? Because I'm catching other imageries, lights and shadows. I'm catching other imagery more clearly. Watch. Fixating on this one right now. Ignore this one. Okay? So as I come through, it's cropping. Light in my camera, light in my telescope. Now you can confirm this by taking the camera off your telescope and looking at with your eyes. But first, I think it's better to just do it the way that I'm showing you here first, until you can get your head around it. Once you get your head around it, you won't have any problem with just going in with your eyes and looking around with the telescope and seeing it. The same way that you're going to see it in the trees, the bushes, the grass, the landscapes, the rocks, the stones, the water, the ice, the snowbanks, everywhere. You will see it everywhere. There's nothing to be afraid of. It may sound freaky because it goes against everything you've ever been told, but it's nothing freaky or scary about it. It's just the way it is. It's an electromagnetic nanocarbon system, and it's here for us to see. It's all there, So your biblical bullshit stories, the all-seeing eye and all that. Yeah, the all-seeing eye are all over the fucking place. They're all over the fucking place. I can show you all-seeing eyes looking at you out of your trees, your bushes, your fucking lawn. It's not on Kesha's palm of her hand. Well, it is. It's tattooed on the palm of Kesha's hand, right? It's all over the place. They bring it into the fucking bullshit system. But in reality, there's all-seeing eyes all around you. The same one that's drawn on everybody's fucking hand. But these ones right here all around you, you're gonna ignore. But the fake ones, the tattoos, the bullshit stories, those are okay. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just running it out of light. Now I could be angling it as well as I go around, which was another thing I was doing yesterday. And the reason why it's nice with the 15 of them set up, now if I took more time, I should have done 24. I could have got a bigger piece of glass and fit them on there, 24 of them for 1 minute of every day or whatever. It's okay, no big deal. I don't see any reaction from anybody anyway yet. So what's the big deal? I don't want to keep fucking sinking time into all this shit and no one's even paying attention to it. So anyway, back to what I was starting to say. So I turned my reflection down. I got rid of some glare, a little bit of glare, but not too much because again, I'm using the glare to my advantage as well, you know. And the only thing that sucks too is the glare on the tape. I should have done a better job taping it off because that aggravates me when I'm looking around at this stuff. So I'm gonna let's go to the second row. I kind of did the first row, but I'm talking, so I'm moving the camera around all over. So again, a little bit of a turn, and then I jump on one of these turns. I don't remember, is it this one? Yeah, that one. Maybe it's the next one. I jumped real far. No, it was this one. It was the glare. It was the glare that was doing that to me. Or was it this one? Something of those. No. I guess it's just a pretty big turn right here. Anyway, it's alright. And I'm moving really fast too. Because I was going slow on the other ones. You know, look deep within all those other lines that the printer picks up and everything, you know, that I'm trying to point out to you. I can get even better. I can go down, you know, I can go in deep. I'm just trying to keep going straight across, but I can bring you in on them all, you know, and I will. I'll have some fun for a few videos, and then I got to get back to, I'm going to try to finish up the series and get to, I want to get on to the Santos Bonacci series now. So I just kind of want to finish this one up for these guys. You know, with as far as Brian, as far as you go, if you ever come to these videos, Brian, you know, I liked your model, and I still do. There's still some things about that model that I really like. So when you hear me ranking you out and shit like that, I mean, it can't be helped. I mean, I can't even feel guilty about ranking you out about the chemtrail shit because, I mean, why would you try to direct everybody away from the chemtrail shit, you know? I do like the idea of the plasma. Because I guess it just makes no difference to me and it goes against mainstream, so what the hell do I care if it's called plasma or radiation or... I just think of it in my mind as a power source, so I don't really care what everybody else really calls it. See what cropping the imagery does for you too, you know what I mean? And I'm going fast, I'm jumping, my camera's bouncing, I'm moving around. If you do this for yourself, you'd be much better off. But see, you wouldn't even be making out these images here when you're all the way back here, you know? As you keep going, you're bringing in more and more imagery, you're copying them off. Let's go down to the last row. And again, I could be playing with my lights. I could be bringing my lights further to my right and further over my head and fucking with stuff. And that's another thing I keep forgetting to point out. If you notice, my glass table here is at an angle. Changing that angle also helps, but I'm doing that with my phone anyway, so I just give myself the head start by angling my glass, because I really want to be down here to show you the most crisp, clear imagery. I kind of want to be like down here somewhere, and then adjust from there, you know. But right now I'm riding out here, which is still fine. Again, just memorizing shadows. Even if an imagery is not all the way crystal clear, you'll memorize the shadows, and then later you'll pick up on the rest of it very clearly, and you'll be like, oh, that's right, I remember that one. I remember the shadow for that. Yeah. Kind of like there's huge faces and stuff like that, but it's face within face within face. So you gotta, once you start going in and you start cropping, you'll be able to see things a little more clearly, right? That's one thing to do for yourself. And then angles of light. This is why it's so big. Brian, I know my radio's up loud and I got an air conditioner running, so let me try to finish what I was doing. It's going moon to moon each turn to show you how it changes, how the imagery changes up. So the shadows, Brian, the shadows of all this, right? It's lights and shadows. Here it's being done on paper, on a thin paper. Up there in the veil, this area that we call the moon, it's being done with those other particles. So you can actually see the layers. So in other words, a thickness as I'm turning my camera when I'm doing the videos. Now what's amazing to me is that when I print it, it actually fucking prints, and it still does it. It still works. So in other words, these thin little lines everywhere, now light comes from behind the moon, from within the moon. It has to be coming from behind or within. Why? Because of this. It's very simple. You just shut off the fucking light that's behind you. No matter what it is, I don't care if it's blue or whatever the hell color it is, right? Whatever color that is. Now, all the little details. Now, I know I'm getting glare. I know I'll get glare because I tried toning that down. But believe me, with my eyes, just can't fuck the camera. I can just grab a magnifying glass. And then I can take out the digital fuckery idea as well. So when I go down here like this, see how much more detail I can get? See all the little small lines? All the little small lines that you won't see when I go turning other things back on? I can get them all more clearly. It was kind of like the other day when I was doing another video and I put my hand like this. I don't need to anymore now because I turned I guess it still works, but I turned the brightness down. So it still works. So see here, you can do this trick yourself as well. So reflect some light back in here from the side here like this, I guess is what I'm doing. And it has to do with my camera. Because believe me, I can go like this and look at with my eyes. And I'm holding the camera away from the picture. But I don't need the fucking camera. You'll see more with your eyes than I'm showing you right now, because this camera has a lot of glare shit going on with it. That's the part I'm trying to explain. So by me going like this, don't take that as other light coming in from up above or another area. No, it's just light reflecting around in this area. My hand acting as a part of this area now. Right? Let me see if I can make it do it again. I know I can, obviously. So I'm even catching a lot of them even now before it even glares out, but I want to see it happen again. Do I have to be closer? Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah. I mean, look at the fucking imagery, man. It's unbelievable. And I'm way up. I could be coming down here like this, and changing my shadows and things like that. So I guess my point being is that when the light's coming from within the moon and behind the moon, I get the imagery. I see the imagery more crisp and more clear. Now, when it comes to the daytime moon, and I've got photographs of a daytime moon, and I always noticed a difference. I always noticed a difference of the daytime moon looked more fake. The imagery wasn't as crisp, not as clear, I guess is my best description of it. You have to just go look for yourself. And when I went at nighttime, and I was, so in other words, what that told me, it was not a glare from the sun bouncing off the moon, is what that tells me, which I already had an idea of that anyway years ago. For many years now, I've been on heavy doubt of that. So all of this, like at nighttime, zooming in with our telescopes, we can do this ourselves with our telescope. But you have to run your telescope off. You have to go run it off, because what you're doing is pulling in that light into your telescope and your camera at different. Our eyes just aren't powerful enough to get all the way up there, I guess. But if the colors were proper and the contrast was right, we would definitely see all the ones I'm trying to show you out here. We would see these ones from the ground. Well, here. Again, adding contrast is what I'm doing here. Blue lights, red light. I can put these blue lights behind as well, and I still end up with more light and more contrast. I can also put a filter on. I'm trying to avoid that because I'm trying to keep the imagery crisp and clear, and my plastic filters will make imagery less clear. So in other words, you might make out, it's going to be hard for you to judge that that's a face if you can't see the eyes and the mouth clearly, let's say, for example. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to give you the imagery more crisp and clear when eyeballs are looking back at you, that kind of shit. So let's continue on here. It's just another turn. And look how fast I went. I just jumped over. It's supposed to be going like this. It's supposed to be going like this. I'm trying to imitate the telescope, but I keep getting sidetracked on all my videos lately. I see something and I run off on a tangent. And the slower I go, the better it is, really. Gives your eyes a minute to adjust and pick up the imagery. And the other thing is, it's pretty cool, is the stretching of the imagery and shit. There's a lot. There's a lot. I've been learning a lot of shit just by doing this. With these pictures up on a glass table like this. Been learning so much shit. I'm already at 20 minutes, so I'll just try to explain one more. Well, two things I'll talk about real quick. Closest thing I've ever seen to bird type shit anywhere is up here in this corner in two different ways. One of them being the shoulders of this right here, this image. And it's amazing to me how these images stretch out and change up. It's really cool just from going angle to angle. Anyways, there's that one, and then this area here And this area here, as I angle around, I'll find it for you over on one of the other turns. Um, Turning to be some really, possibly some feathers. It's the only place I've ever seen it, possibility of it. And I've been saying from the beginning, she don't look bird-like. She don't look bird-like. Her face does look rodent-like, but her shoulders look like feathery to me. They look like feathery shoulder pads. And even her, that's not a good place to get her. Let's see. Where am I going? Okay, there's a lot of ways to get her as well. Standing here with her big legs coming all the way down here, and even her feet could be brought into this at some point. And watch as I do this, what I've been noticing is as I've been going around, not only do I get more clarity on certain things, and but I brought that other image in yesterday or the day before, and I was fucking freaking out. I love it. And I never got to go back to that yet. I'm going to, though. I'm going to find that one again because that was really cool the way that happened. And it's all in here. It all happens in here. With this image here, it morphs into a really cool another image. Let me see if this one anyway. I want to show you her shoulders again. So I'm going to bring you in a little tighter. I could probably change up some light. Okay, now I changed her up totally. I lost her legs at that point because I pull in all the, right? Yeah, pretty much. Let's come here. I ended up getting it on the lengthwise. I'm still getting the same one. I'm not picking up the other. No chance of the other one I seen. It's in the middle row, I think. Don't usually get that one that clear with the eyes. This is usually a shadow image, so good to show it to you right now. This face here. You can actually make its eyes out here. That was one of the ones in my first couple weeks of finding all this. I was going out of my mind about this here because calling it, you know, it would have to be human made. If it was a hat of some kind, I was calling it like a baby cap. But obviously I found the rest of it by now. Anyway, I know it's image within image, and I know that that's just an inside of another. That's the mouth of this other image, which is right here. There it is looking at you now. That's its mouth. Watch. See if I can get. I'll get it on another angle better, but that's the best you'll see the eyes for that image there. I used to call it a baby because it looked like it was laying down, and it actually has legs here. There's legs right here and a foot that goes this way. These legs are crossed over, and it has a body. But from the other angles, I never get to look into the face very well. So there's a couple versions of its face. You get into this pretty good on that artwork one, the one that's got the patent. You can get into all this pretty good. He hides it though. They whitewash the shit. Her from Yeah, the other one I get better down here. I'm already at 25 minutes though, so let me start anew. Hold on.